Good morning and welcome to this short act of worship coming from Killin Manse. We're in the Manse here today just to give our AV team a much welcomed break. They've been at it for 8 months regularly in the church, and this is just in the lead up to Christmas, just to change things a little bit. But let's begin with our great affirmation. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Amen. A couple of intimations. Over these next 3 weeks, because we're now in level 4, the congregation is reduced to 20 maximum. So if you're thinking of coming along in the next 3 weeks, you really have to book your seat in advance. And that means phoning the manse here to do that. I understand that some of you will be shielding and taking it cautiously, but for those of you who want to still come to church, please book between Thursday and Saturday of each week. Second intimation is a strange one, but a bottle of red wine, good red wine, was delivered to the manse a couple of weeks ago. But there was no note on it, so we don't know who it was from or what it was for. We've drunk it, by the way, and we've tried very subtly to find out who might have given it as a gift, but we've reached a dead end on that. So just in case someone is out there who didn't want to remain anonymous, but maybe the little card or the name and address has fallen off or whatever, please get in touch to let us know who you are. Thank you. Well, we're in strange times. We're back into what seems like lockdown again in level 4. But let's remember our faith and take heart from that. We begin by lighting our candle. Please say the great affirmations with me. These are great ancient words. We should never ever take them for granted. The light of the world has come. Jesus is the light of the world. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness will never overcome it. Let us pray. Lord, as we go into another dark tunnel and we feel once again restricted, and especially at this time of year, the lead up to Christmas, remind us to look for joy and satisfaction in the things that really do matter, to count our blessings in these days ahead, to remember that your grace is always with us. May you lift our hearts and lift our spirits. Give us resilience. Give us perseverance in these days. We thank you that at all times we are blessed by having a roof over our head, food to eat, and yes, even if it's only on the phone, to be able to share with our family and with our friends. But today we remember those who are grieving, those who are missing loved ones, those who are in hospital at this time, those who are struggling with their job and income and monetary matters and the whole insecurity of this whole period, and those who are worried about catching this virus, and a whole host of other things too. So in the quietness now, we would draw near to you and share with you the concerns of our own heart, but also to pray for others known to us who need you at this time. Hear us now in the quietness. And now let's say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever. Amen. My text today is Matthew 4:19, where Jesus says to his disciples, "Come, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." So there's the following, and then there's the mission. Now, I have been and still am very humbled by this online project. It's new to me. I haven't done it before, but I'm amazed at the people who've stuck with it and who comment regularly, and the feedback I get through emails or indeed on the Facebook page of the church. And also how widespread the group is, from America and Australia to the south of England, all the way up to the Orkney Islands, where people have viewed it, maybe not all the time, but certainly in and out. And then there are the people who seem to be watching it every week. And I'm quite staggered and humbled by that you make the effort to do this. Because although I can't see you, the difficulty with the church services just now, everyone is masked. So I'm looking at a congregation spread out and masked. Of course, as I speak to this phone, and this is recorded, I can't see you either. So the whole thing has been strange this year. But I thank you that you accompany me on this journey, because that's what it is. It's a joint pilgrimage. And I do hope that you're obviously tuning in because you get something out of this. And I can only pray that God, as he leads and guides my thinking and wrestling with all of this, produces something for all of us. Little seeds that can grow and develop in our life and develop our faith. We're all called to pilgrimage. When Jesus says, "Come follow me," it's an invitation, but it's almost like a command too, because of his authority and who it is that's saying this. Come follow me. And that's what we've been trying to do over these months. And it's great that we have this medium. Imagine life without it. So we are richly blessed. But we're on this pilgrimage. And in some ways, if we're not moving, we're standing still. And if we're standing still, we're not going anywhere. If we're not going anywhere, we're not learning anything new, and we're not exposing ourselves to new experiences. And that's what the journey of faith is. To learn from the Master and to build up a picture of his reality, the real reality behind all things. And also to be open to his grace transforming us and changing us and building us up and helping us through dark times, but also enabling us to see all the good that there is, to make the most of that, and to be used as part of his mission to the whole world. So in some respects, we are all family, a family of faith. We're all at different stages of the journey. We're all at different levels of understanding. Some of us are just tentatively maybe tipping our toe into the water. Others are swimming in it. But that's great. As long as we're journeying, as long as we're following, God will bless us and continue to enrich and enlarge our vision. Now, the church is going through a dark time. We are called to be story keepers and storytellers. The story keepers. When you think of all the ancient books that are lost to us, but the Gospels and the Bible has been preserved by people of faith down throughout the ages. It was a deposit that has been guarded, and that's what Paul said to Timothy, to guard the deposit that had been left with him. And my goodness, faithful men and women have done that for 2,000 years. That's why we have a Bible today. The story has been guarded and kept. Story keepers, but we're also storytellers. This is a message to be shared with the world, but we can't share it with the world if we don't really know it or understand it. There's that wonderful line from the film Lord of the Rings, quite early on in it. It's recapping what had gone before and how they'd reached the present situation. It was Galadriel who says, and some things that should never have been forgotten were lost. Some things that should never have been forgotten were lost. And that sets the scene for the drama of Lord of the Rings. Well, we're in a drama just now with COVID and with so many things that are going on in our world. But you know, at the end of the day, this message that's been a deposit to us, we've got to allow it to bring us alive, because it is a living message. But it's been forgotten. The church in Western Europe, and in fact, to a large extent, increasingly in America, is a church that's like, to use the title of a book, a Cinderella with amnesia. Cinderella sits in the ashes, forgetting who she is and what she's about. And we're like in the midst of a difficulty, and we've forgotten who we are, why we are, and what we should be doing. The story has been lost to so many folk in the Western world. They have no idea how Europe has been shaped by the Christian tradition. And jokingly, some people say even atheists living in the West don't realise they're actually Christian atheists, because the influence of the Christian faith has been incomparable and powerful. And we've lost that. And we need to recapture that. We need the flame to be lit again. And the Christian vision of all things is a fantastic thing. It has generated so many things in European history, but under that grand vision, it integrates so many things: sciences, philosophy, religion, ethics, politics, all comes under the great umbrella, the great world view that is the Christian church. And the more we know about that, the more excited we should become. But most of us are just at the pool's edge, and we haven't really taken the plunge, and we don't really know that much. And what we do know sometimes is a bit garbled. I've had many conversations with people who I've had to say, not quite, that's not quite what the Christian faith stands for. This is what it represents. So, storytellers, but we need to be people who understand what that story is to begin with. Now, they say that all truth is God's truth, and that's the corollary of having only one God. So we take the best that the world has to offer and we integrate this into the Christian vision. And these in turn are, in a sense, edified by the power of this Christian vision. But we've got to recapture, rekindle what this story actually means. Now, I've used this story before in church, and it goes back to the 70s when I was a young Christian. And I was listening to an Australian evangelist whose name I'm afraid I've forgotten. But he was telling a story of one of the tours he was on, that before he went to speak, someone asked him if he could visit someone who was dying, who desperately, the family desperately wanted him to speak to. So he went along, and there was a man, and he was lying in his bed, and all he could say was, 40 years an elder, and I'm dying in the dark. So this evangelist tried to speak to him, but got nowhere. And of course, as I was listening to the story, I was waiting for the punchline, because stories often have a punchline. I was waiting for the happy ending. You know, that the guy was able to speak to him, and in so many ways, he died at peace. But he didn't. That's all he said. The only words he ever uttered. 40 years an elder, and I'm dying in the dark. I have no idea what was going on there. Was that person just thinking, I don't understand this faith. This should be helping me at the moment, but I've just lost it. I seem to be in the dark. Storytellers, we need that message to come alive in us so that we don't live in the dark. We live in the light and we become bearers of that light. And the message is good news. So good. It makes a difference to how we should see all of things. And as we go through this difficult period before Christmas, let's remember that. When I hear folks say, oh, Christmas looks as though it's cancelled this year, I'm thinking, yeah, I know what they mean. We can't cancel Christmas. Christ has come. The message is there. The message is not cancelled. So the real Christmas is not cancelled. And may the light of the gospel of Jesus Christ shine in your hearts and lives and homes this Christmas time. And may it shine in ours as well. Once again, thank you for watching and listening. And may God challenge us all with some of these thoughts. Let me finish with the blessing. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord guard you and guide you. The Lord help you and love you all the days of this coming week. Thank you for watching. See you next week.